Hey guys, what is up and welcome back to another episode of Apollo Justice, Ace Attorney. In the last episode, we finished off the final investigation of Turnabout Corner, and we found out some pretty interesting things. For one, we examined a whole bunch of footprints or shoe prints at the scene of the crime, and we also were able to enter the Maractus Clinic at long last. In order to investigate some stuff there, we picked up this nice pair of sandals, and we also were able to go into the victim's office, Pal Maractus's office, to find Walkie's x-ray and everything, and we found out that the slippers from the trash can that were from the Maractus Clinic had a toe print that matched the ones on the sandals, and the sandals belonged to Alita, according to Walkie. So this is getting interesting, and Alita Tail is starting to look mighty suspicious. Yikes. So, yeah. Let's get going to the final trial. June 17th, 9:52 a.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2.
This is it. The big day. Did you get any sleep?
Yeah, I went to bed at 1 a.m. or so.
Oh? What time did you wake up?
3 a.m.
That's only 2 hours, Apollo. But at least you have me. And the amazing Mr. Hat.
That voice. Hey, get any sleep? Mr. Wright! I was going out of my mind with boredom, so I signed myself out earlier today. Somehow that place makes fake piano playing at the Indo-Chinese pasta joint seem almost fun.
Daddy, do you know who Prosecutor Gavin's witness is today?
Take a guess.
How about Little Plum?
That Sherman tank of a mom? Nope, guess again.
That's too bad. You know, speaking of moms, you need to find me a new mommy one of these days, Daddy.
It's barely morning and you're at it already, Trucy. I'm not finding any bitches today. Okay, see, this is why I don't buy their father-daughter relationship. So, Mr. Wright, do you know who the prosecution's witness is? Alita Tail, your client's fiancée. She's going to be a witness?
But that seems odd. Why would she testify against her own fiancé?
You have to wonder what Gavin's up to. Something's going down today. That much is clear.
Well, not to worry. I've got my panties back. If we can't find a killer, I'll pull one out of there.
Trucy, that's not funny. June 17th, 10 a.m., District Court, Courtroom Number 4. Court is now in session for the trial of Walkie-Talkie. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Prosecution is formed up and it's a sold-out house. Very well. To recap. While yesterday's witness seemed more guilty than any other party,
guilty of panty snatching,
we did find out one thing for certain. There were 3 people in the park at the time of the murder. The witness, the victim, and the defendant. Correct, Herr Judge. And today I'd like to do something a little new age. I'd like to look at this horrible crime from the outside. The outside? The acquisition of the murder weapon, the preparation for the act. Our poor defendant told all, you see. To his betrothed. His betrothed? His fiancée, Herr Judge. His partner for life, with no chance for parole. Very well. You may show the, lucky lady to the stand. Your name and occupation, Fraulein?
Alita Tail. My occupation is future wife.
Oh, traditional values. I respect that. Too many brides these days can't even weave baskets blindfolded. Underwater. Yet you're here today as a witness for the prosecution?
To be honest, I didn't want to testify at first, but I couldn't hide the truth.
Honesty. Another admirable trait. Fraulein, is it true that on the day of the crime, the defendant, Walkie-Talkie, confessed his plans? His plans for murder?
Yes.
The witness will please give testimony to the court.
It was the day that the family health checkup results came back. When Walkie found out that Dr. Maractus had lied, he flew into a rage. I'll teach him, he said. He took one of the family's pistols. And you already know what happened that night. I just don't see how anyone but Waki could have done it.
So the pistol did belong to the Kitaki family then? Yes, with regards to this, an investigation is underway at the Kitaki mansion. On charges of the possession of illegal firearms. And the bullet that took the victim's life, was it fired from the pistol the defendant procured? Yes, this has been proven.
How can you prove something like that?
Bullets carry marks from the barrel that fired them called rifling marks.
Rifling marks?
Think of them as being a gun's fingerprints left on every bullet it fires. And when did you first hear about Waki's plan?
It was the day of the murder. I should have stopped him. I just didn't think he would actually do it.
Very well. The defense may begin the cross-examination.
It was the day that the family health checkup results came back, when Waki found out that the rancid light flew into a rage.
That must have been, quite frightening.
He was furious. He ripped his report up into shreds.
Incidentally, I had to request another copy to file as evidence. A bothersome chore, but one I performed without complaint.
Waki's at an age where he's hard to control when he loses his temper. Of course, that little bit of instability is so cute.
Great, now he sounds like a psychopath. Great. So, is it easy to take a pistol out from the house?
Not really, I think. There's a system in place to limit access. But Waki's a special case, being the next in line.
Perhaps his treatment was a bit too special, yeah?
Well, maybe he is a bit spoiled. I hear he's got amazing presents for his birthdays. Last year was a switchblade made out of chewing gum and a chocolate gravestone.
Sounds like he has a taste for sweets and danger. The point here being that Waki had access to a pistol. What happened? Meaning the murder?
I tried to stop him, I really did, but Waki wouldn't listen.
Our defendant was nothing if not determined, it seems. The last thing you should do is blame yourself, miss. How can you say that for certain? How? Herr Forehead, you will refrain from badgering the Fraulein. It was the defendant, Waki, was it, who took the pistol from his home. We know this for a fact now. I suppose we do. So how could anyone else have used this pistol to shoot the victim? They could not. Simple logic, yeah? That does seem to be the case. Does the defendant have anything to say regarding this point? Could someone else have used that pistol? Oh. Based on your testimony, there was clearly another. One other person had access to that pistol. What's this? Interesting. Let's ask the defense then. Tell the court who this other person with access was. Well, of course, I mean, you, Miss Tiala.
Me? But why?
You were quite clear when you told the court. You heard about the pistol from the defendant on the day of the murder. In other words, you knew what he was planning. Let me get this straight. You intend to tell us that this lady stole the pistol from her fiancé? And killed a man in cold blood on his behalf? I've heard of people doing strange things for love, but this? It does seem a bit unfathomable, to be sure. I'm all for romance and supporting your partner in life, to be sure. But I think I would hesitate at murder. I'd hope you do more than hesitate. But what if a different connection could be proven? A connection between the witness and the victim. We might find that she had a personal motive beyond wanting to help her fiancé. That would put things in a slightly different light. What possible connection are you suggesting here?
You know what I'm starting to think? I'm starting to think that the police never looked inside that safe.
I have evidence showing a connection between the witness, Miss Tiala, and the victim. Wait, is it that one? No, it's this. That looks like a medical chart? Found inside a safe at the Maractus Clinic. I'd like to draw the court's attention to the names written on the chart. What? Miss Tiala, whatever. Why is your name on this chart? Well, care to explain the meaning of this, Miss Tiala?
I'm not sure what you mean by meaning, Mr. Justice.
Our warm little fiancé just froze over.
I was on staff at that clinic until half a year ago. It was boring, so I quit. That's all. Is there a problem with that?
Miss Tiala! You testified that you had no connection to the victim.
And I don't, now.
Now?
I quit half a year ago, didn't I? So there's no connection. Let me guess. You're the kind of guy who can't rest until he knows every last detail of his girlfriend's past. Am I right?
That's not true at all. I embrace the ones I love, past flaws and all, no matter... There's no connection now. Doesn't fly in a court of law.
Doesn't fly?
She's one tough nut. She probably feels right at home with the Gatakis. You left your job in the Maractus Clinic, true, but you remain connected somehow. Very well, Mr. Justice. Show us evidence that proves the witness is still connected to the Maractus Clinic. Crap. These sandals were found in the Maractus Clinic lobby. They're yours, aren't they?
Well, who knows? I'm sure there are lots of people with those sandals.
So sorry, Fräulein. Your act isn't working. Your moments of hesitation just now cost you.
What's with you? I thought you were on my side.
Perhaps you are unaware that toes leave toe prints? A simple analysis of these sandals will reveal all.
Well, now we see your true colors. I was wrong to cooperate with you from the beginning. I just wanted you to help get Walkie back on the straight and narrow.
This court thinks you need to worry less about Walkie and more about yourself. It sounds as though we need to hear a bit more about your story. Your sandals were found in the entrance to the clinic, which means you went there on the day of the murder.
Well, there's little point in denying it.
Very well. The witness will tell us about this visit. Why did you go to the Maractus Clinic that day?
I did go to the clinic that day, my first time in half a year since I quit in January. I went to warn him. After all, I knew Walkie had the pistol. The doctor was always a timid man, too timid to admit his own mistake. Why else would I have gone? I'm not hiding any dark secrets. I wanted to tell him to be careful, as an old friend.
By mistake, you mean the mistake we heard about from the defendant? The botched operation?
He was a timid, small man, but I never wished him harm. I just thought I should let him know, you know?
That does make sense. Yes, but there is still one thing which does not. What's that, Miss Prosecutor Gavin? The sandals left in the lobby, of course. We can assume she wore these sandals to the clinic, yeah? Then why did she not wear them home? If it were me, I would have worn them home. I would have worn those sandals home too. So why were the sandals left behind? He pointed out the contradiction before me. There's probably a good reason for this, right, Miss Tiala? Say, for instance, there happens to be a similar pair of sandals which you wore home by mistake.
Actually, that's right. I'm impressed, Mr. Gavin.
Oh, it is nothing. There is, after all, no other explanation. Yeah, Forehead? Oh, but no fair! He's filling the holes in her testimony. The defense may begin the cross-examination. Around what time did you go to the clinic?
I don't remember exactly, but it was after 9:30, I think.
And that was the first time you had contacted Dr. Maractus in half a year?
Of course it was. He wasn't the kind of boss you made friends with.
So why did you go to the clinic that day?
I went to warn him.
Did you want Dr. Maractus to run away?
Well, after I failed to stop Walkie, I thought that was the only other way to avoid the problem.
Couldn't you have called? Why go in person?
I called several times that evening, but no one was in.
The victim was busy driving home until after 9 p.m. that night, remember? This was proven by the mirror yesterday, yeah?
I thought if I warned him, he would run away for sure, knowing the doctor.
You mean that active malpractice on Walkie, correct?
If he had just told Walkie the truth in the beginning, none of this would have happened.
True, that operation was the start of this whole affair.
Oh, of course, if he told them, he might have been erased by the Kitakis much earlier.
A disturbing thought. We know that the Maractus clinic had ties to the Kitaki family. He probably couldn't have gone to the police even if he wanted to.
That's why I knew I had to warn him.
This chart was found inside a safe in the doctor's office.
Yes.
Why would this one chart be in that safe? Miss Tiala, you know why it was, don't you? Mind filling me in? Dr. Maractus didn't have the leisure of making mistakes. That's why he wrote up a false report and kept the truth locked away. Bad, Herr Doctor. And this is where you came in, Miss Tiala. The nurse who filed this chart was you, which means you knew about Walkie's failed operation. Interesting. You were in the same position as Dr. Maractus. Kinda makes it hard to claim no connection, doesn't it?
You're bold for a novice, I'll give you that. Mr. Justice, you must know I was only a nurse. The doctor was responsible for the chart's contents.
This chart business seems to be quite important. Please amend your testimony accordingly.
Too bad, little attorney.
My bracelet's reacting again.
What is it, Apollo?
I felt my bracelet vibrate just now.
Your bracelet?
Just like yesterday. Like you said. When a witness is unsure of something, their nervous habit gives them away.
But I can't see anything, Apollo.
Huh? Then what's my bracelet reacting to?
Wait, maybe. Yes, that has to be it.
What has to be it?
Your senses, Apollo. They must be sharper than mine.
Huh?
I can't see it, but you can sense it.
I don't know about that, Trucy. I don't have some kind of special power or anything.
Listen to me, Apollo. There's a weak point somewhere in Miss Tiala's testimony, but we don't know what her nervous habit is.
Well, then what do we do?
You have to perceive it yourself, Apollo, with your eyes and your senses.
And it's up to me and my bracelet. I don't know why, but the bracelet helps. Somehow touching it helps me focus. Let's give it a shot and bring down that testimony. Magical lawyer superpower! Okay. Why would I go to the clinic? Oh my god! Oh my god! Wait! Stop! 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 Why go to the clinic for a half-a-year-old chart now, you ask? But you know why you would go now, don't you?
I don't know what you're talking about.
It was quite clear, Miss Tiala, you have a nervous habit. The moment you said the word now, you used your right thumb to fiddle with your ring.
What?
She was unsure. I saw it. Now, that's the key word. The chart wasn't a part of your past. It was a clear and present threat.
That's ridiculous. Why, if that were the case, I would have had 6 months to do something about it.
Indeed.
Huh?
Which means something happened quite recently. Something to make that chart a problem for you now. I've got her on the ropes now. I can feel it. Time to strike the killing blow, with evidence. Miss Tiala, there's no use trying to hide it. The chart became a threat to you now, because of this. I don't know, bro, because Walkie was about to die? A health checkup report belonging to the defendant The Kitakis are trying to get out of the business. The health checkup this month was their first ever. What did you think when you heard about this?
Huh? Oh, nothing. Why should I think anything?
Oh? I would think you were positively beside yourself. Because you were afraid. You knew that Waki's chest x-ray would reveal. A full half year had passed since the operation. You thought you were home free. When the chart came back to haunt you...
Ah!
That's all, Your Honor. Well, what just happened? Did the witness just admit to lying? I sensed it. There was a great aura emanating from her forehead. Very cool. So the lady was lying, it seems. That's correct. She said she had no connection to the Maractus Clinic, but her connection was deep indeed, a bit too deep. If the Kitakis got a hold of this chart with her name, she'd be finished. Isn't that right, Miss Tiala?
You guessed it.
Order, order! I did it! I broke her testimony!
Amazing, Apollo! I didn't see it at all. Daddy was right about you. Wait!
Miss Tiola?
It's true that chart was bad news for me. That's why I went to meet the doctor that day. But that's all. I told him about Waki and went home.
It appears this cross-examination is far from over. What? She hid the truth from us. This is clear, yet it is not clear that this truth has anything to do with the case at hand. Very well. The witness will add this to her testimony. And we'll have a bit more cross-examination. I was so close.
You're still close. Keep on her, Apollo.
Nothing happened at all. I warned him and left.
I mean, I don't know about that. I mean, you left the slippers. I mean, you left with the slippers.
You say nothing happened in the doctor's office. I disagree. Take a look at this.
What's that? It looks like a squished up ball of clay. Kinda like you, actually.
This bullet was found in the Maractus Clinic's office. Something did happen in that office, Miss Tiala. Enough of this joking around. The police investigated that clinic. Ah, but this was stuck inside the doctor's safe. Inside the safe?
I guess the police didn't check that far.
But there is a problem. How can you say that bullet was fired on that day? Weren't you the one who explained rifling marks to us? The pistol was taken from the Kitaki mansion that day. If the marks on this bullet match the murder weapon, then that proves a firearm was discharged in that office on the day of the murder. Not bad, Herr Forehead. Bailiff, have this bullet analyzed immediately! 30 minutes later, a report arrives. The rifling marks on both the bullets are identical. Well, it seems as though the bullet in the safe was fired from the murder weapon. Perhaps the defense would like to state the position? The bullet in that safe proves one fact. A pistol was fired in that office on that day, and at the time of the firing, the safe was open. The safe which contained the top secret chart. Do you think someone was threatening Dr. Maractus in order to open the safe? Only one person was in a position to do such a thing. Our witness, Alita Tail. Order, order, order! Mr. Justice, where are you going with this? Are you accusing the witness? Alita Tail knew about Waki Kataki's botched operation. She got engaged to him without telling him about it. As long as that bullet remained in his chest, his days were numbered. What if she married him and then the bullet finally reached its destination? What? That reminds me. Apparently the Kitakis have been asserting themselves in lawful business practices. They're making quite a great deal of money. A fortune, if you will. Nefarious! So she planned to marry him just to get her hands on this fortune? You keep talking trash about my Alita, and I'll sue you, lawyer man. Huh? Me? Yeah, you said you'd abuse my Alita. I think you mean accuse. Same difference. Well, you can't have it. She's mine. It was me. I shot that doctor. Me. He left me to die, so I left him to die too. There in that park. Walkie, just cool down a second, please. You keep your hands off my Alita or I'll... Miss Chiola?
I'm sorry, it's been so long since I've laughed so hard.
Something funny?
Waki, wake up and smell reality.
Alita baby?
The signature on the chart, the engagement. I mean, come on! It's so obvious, even for a brainless, spoiled brat such as yourself.
Alita, your honesty is like a breath of foul air, Fräulein.
Hey, I wasn't getting out of this clean anyway.
So, the family fortune is what you're really after?
That's right, I wanted the money.
No way! That's whack! I ain't trying to hear that!
I should have done the wedding earlier. Oh well. By the way, can I ask you a question?
Who, me?
I believe you said you were going to abuse me.
Accuse.
Of what crime, might I ask?
Huh?
Oh, I'm a bad girl, sure. I got close to that brat because I wanted his money. But he was the one with the pistol. He could have fired it into the safe after I'd already left the clinic.
What?
I would never do a thing like that. It was definitely that silly brat.
Wait, but...
What are you talking about?
Trucy?
You had the most to lose if that chart was found. But I didn't have a pistol now, did I? Well, you could have taken walkies. You think he'd have mentioned that? No? All I've heard him say is, it was me. I shot him.
That's only because he's trying to protect you. Sorry to intrude in this lovely conversation, but the two of you are forgetting one critical point.
What point?
Certainly the Fräulein wanted that chart. You assume she threatened the doctor into opening that safe, but then... wouldn't she have taken the chart?
Oh.
You see? That chart wouldn't have been left in that safe. He's right. Miss Chiola.
Yes?
It is clear to this court that you are not a very good fiancé.
Oh, I'm flattered.
Perhaps it's time you told us the truth. Tell us about yourself, including your actions and whereabouts on that day. Don't forget, we've proven that you were at the Maratus clinic on the day of the crime.
Yes, I went to the clinic that day to speak with the doctor. I wanted that chart, but I failed to get it, so I went back to the clinic later. In any case, I didn't shoot him. You don't even have proof I stole that pistol, do you? And that brat was spotted in the park at the moment of the crime. Frankly, I don't think it matters if Dr. Maratus was shot in the temple or not.
You went back later?
That chart was dangerous, you understand. I needed to get rid of it, that's why I went that day.
But you couldn't get the chart then, could you?
And later that night, Dr. Maratus was shot. I heard about the shooting, waited a day, but then I had to go back. No easy feat with the cops all over the place.
That was you?
Apollo! That sound! It came from behind this door!
Someone's in there! A break-in! They left through that window! So you were the burglar?
That was you two? If only I had one more minute. Then I could have opened that safe and gotten the chart.
What? That's trespassing! And brazen at that!
Oh, is this a trial for trespassing now? Besides, you can't blame a girl for wanting to protect herself. They are gangsters, you know.
In any case, Mr. Justice, your cross-examination. Admitting the little crime to avoid the big one, eh? Alright. later?
When I heard what happened, well, I was too scared to do anything that day. So I waited until the day after, the 16th, was it? Of course, you and that meddling kid had to get in the way.
But why did Dr. Maractus keep that chart around? It was clearly dangerous for him. He could have burned it.
Because he's a coward. The chart was his insurance.
Insurance?
My signature on that chart, to be more specific. That made sure I couldn't betray him.
But you could have stolen it.
Could have? Is this some new definition of proof?
We'll ask Waki. He'll tell us.
No, he won't.
Might I remind you this is a cross-examination? You might want to keep your baseless theories to yourself. He's right, isn't he? Yeah, but...
But what? You have nothing to say. This case is over. It was over the moment that brat was seen in the park. What's the point in dragging it out any further?
The doctor was shot in the right temple, yes?
So it seems.
Let's review the facts again, shall we? If the killer shot from this location, the bullet would have struck our victim square in the forehead. However, the entry wound was in the right temple. Yes, we heard testimony on this yesterday. At the time of the shooting, the witness was standing here.
What? No, what?
Just before the gun was fired, he shouted. The victim turned his head to look and he was shot.
He was on the other side.
But that testimony was proven to be a lie. Our egregious panty snatcher, Mr. Stickler, did witness the crime, but he was standing to the north, next to the trash can where he tossed those panties. If Mr. Stickler shot it from this location, the bullet couldn't hit his right temple.
Silly, silly attorney.
What?
Do you remember what you had for breakfast that morning?
Do you remember, Trucy?
I always have a glass of milk for breakfast. What matters is one thing. The doctor was shot in his right temple. If that's the case, there can only be one explanation. The panties guy was mistaken.
But his location was proven. You can't write that off as him being mistaken. Then why don't you show us, Herr Forehead? Show you what? Must I explain everything? Well then, let's recap. If the witness panties guy was standing to the north, then where was the shooter standing? From what location did the killer shoot the victim? But wait! If the witness was standing there, how could anyone shoot the victim in the right temple? I merely laid out the facts for us. It is up to the one possessing the shiny forehead to show us. If you can, that is. Waki Kitaki was standing at the killer mark, Wesley Stickler at the witness mark, and of course Palmeratis at the victim mark. Let's hear what the defense has to say. Where was the killer standing when they shot the victim? As the facts stand now, we can't explain this crime, without contradicting ourselves at some point. But I know why. The real killer shot from an entirely different location.
What are you talking about? I don't see any other place.
Apparently, Mr. Justice does. Let's hear it. Where in the park did the killer shoot the victim from? It's time to raise the roof and the stakes. Huh? Penalties are such frightening things, don't you think? What if they were a bit more terrifying? Where the hell is the music coming from, Gavin? Gavin! Like so. Dull penalty? Herr Forehead wishes to take us in a new direction? Then he must be ready for the challenges ahead. Challenge accepted. It's justice time.
Are you sure, Apollo?
The key is the witness, Mr. Stickler's testimony. If we believe that, and we know where he stood, and the victim turned when he shouted, there's only one place the killer could have been. The killer shot the victim from here. And that is actually where we're going to stop for today. This is a really bad place to stop. I'm so sorry, but we have to stop here right now. Okay, that is it for this episode. Roll the end card.
Objection! You haven't hit like and subscribe yet. Hold it! You forgot to ring the bell to get notified whenever I upload. Take that! Click here to watch more of my videos. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye!